This is a 220 volt machine that does first go into an included inverter that I have right here in my hand, and that inverter takes the 220 volts, drops them down to 110, which then enables this welding machine to be ran by a standard household outlet. So that is about as cool as it gets for a non-professional welder such as myself to be able to have access to a quick and handy welding machine at their house, such as the Arc 205DS. If I had a 220 available, I could plug in with just the 220, but I do not have access to a 220 here at my exact location. And I haven't done any particular stick welding or MIG welding for that matter since about 1999. Shout out to Mark Cress, Bradley Central High School. By God, how you doing, Coach Cress? Here I am reliving the old memories 24 plus years later. Got my own welder. Here I am back in action. So whatever I didn't get checked off back in 99 and back in 1998, boy, if you could send me that list, Mr. Cress, I'll be sure to get to work and checking off those damn pieces of metal. We had to do like T-joints, you know, horizontal, vertical welding. I remember it all started just putting like, you'd have just like a rectangle piece of steel, you know, and you had to fill that thing full from top to bottom with beads. Man, I finally got to where I could have that whole sheet just looking like a roll of dimes, you know, one after the other. I'd come home, I'd be so proud staring at those beads. I was like, man. And what's funny is, if any of you know how to weld, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's just imagine that I already had my welding rods here in hand, and I've got my imaginary hood on, you know, but I've got my, I used to either put it in just straight in like this, you know, so it's just sticking straight out, or sometimes I would put it in the top right here and then bend the rod over. It didn't really matter to me. I mean, once you learn how to weld, it's like riding a bike. Again, I've not done it in 24 plus years, and I'm telling you right now, if I had this hood on and I had a piece of metal right here in front of me, dude, if this son of a bitch machine is set right, voltage, amperage, whatever it's supposed to be, I don't know that answer yet because I can't remember what those settings are. But by God, if I could get this son of a bitch set up right, and I had that piece of metal right here in front of me, and I had me a damn badass welding hood that I got on the way, by God, right now, but I don't currently have it in stock, don't have it on hand. But if it was, I'd yank that son of a bitch down, and I'm telling you right now, I know it. I could go, bam, as soon as I got that spark, I'd let that thing hit just for a second right there, and dude, here I go. I can see it right now just like I'm doing it, working that puddle of lava. Bam, bam. And you already know, if you're seeing this right now and you know how to weld, you're like, that son of a bitch knows what the fuck he's doing. And you goddamn right. I certainly do. I just don't know how to set up the proper settings on the damn voltage, amperage, whatever you call that right there. Look, I can adjust it. I can turn this thing up to, what, 145 right here. What is that, volts? Somebody help me out. I don't know what it is. Goes up to 145 with that, but I'm telling you. And dude, oh, back to my damn act here. I'm welding. And bam, I'm getting over here to the end of that damn metal. Boom, there it is. Flip that hood up. I mean, just man, slow motion. Just make sure my hair is out of my damn eyes. I flip that hair back, you know, hoping that it wasn't smoking, lit on damn fire. Put it to one. Look, Diego, I know how to follow. Look at there, 120. Got to know 120 now. And I'd sit this thing right here onto something. I'd have me a damn something I'd set it on. I'd get that hammer and I'd go. I'd knock off that flux. I'd get me a damn steel brush and I'd go. And I'd then get me a damn set of vice grips. Spin that thing around and show you that old Tanner knows how to do some stick welding, baby. And don't think that I don't remember that old skinnier 6011, I actually thought it was 6010, but in my order checkout cart the other day it said 6011. I remember I had to work them faster than I did that 7018. At 7018 I could drag that rod more. Tell me I ain't lying. Y'all know I ain't lying. Now Did I do a whole lot more welding with anything beyond those 60 11s and 70 18s? No, I did not. I think we had some like fatter rods in there in the welding cage that I got a time or two, but I couldn't even begin to tell you, what size those rods were. But I thought that's what that was, Diego. I thought that was the bolts, but I wasn't sure. I appreciate you letting me know. So the bolts, and I could turn that down too. Shit, I could probably turn it all the way off. I don't know. Let's see. Look at this. What's it going to do? Go down. I can go all the way down to 20. So plugged into the standard household outlet, I can drop it all the way down to 20 volts or turn it all the way up, as you suggested, Diego, to 120. Or I could crank it all the way up to 145 volts right here. I'll drop it back down to the 120 as you suggested to me moments ago. There you go. I'm going to take these cables out, twist and pull. Look, on the back here, right next to the fan is the power switch. I'm going to switch it off, power off. Now, I'm going to unplug it and show you something. Check this out. I've had it running back here with just the standard plug-in, right? But that's because this plug-in right here is coming from this inverter. This is 220. Now, I've got it in here, hang on. Again, this machine is a 220. Right here it is. And I'll hold it up for everyone watching right now. So here's your 220 that if you did have a 220 volt outlet, boom, you could just plug it straight up. But if you don't, and which I don't in here, it includes this inverter. I have all of this linked to this video. And look, so I just had to plug the, boom, 220 goes into the 110 converter. And then I can plug this thing right up, right here in the kitchen, on the kitchen counter. And how many people you know right now in the United States of America or anywhere around the world watching that is currently sitting in their damn kitchen with a running welder right beside them on the kitchen counter enjoying a cup of coffee? I don't think too damn many. I don't think too damn many at all. Huh? Come on. Hey, you know you live in the high life when you're at your damn kitchen counter and you got a damn welder running right beside you. Listen. What'd you say, baby? Quality's right, baby. The Yeswelder Arc 205 DS Pro. The most mini compact welder that I have ever had my personal hands on. And I can go ahead and tell you, I have had my hands on not that many welders in my lifetime, but by God, I like this one right here beside me. Come on. How cool is that you could run this stick welder though from a standard household outlet? I just think that is really neat. I think it's great at how it doesn't take up hardly any space at all. Check that out. I mean, if you told me, if you had that thing sitting over there turned off on the shelf, I was like, what is that little thing right there? And you're like, oh, that's a welder, Tanner. I'm like, a welder? That small? What is it, like a stick welder? Yeah, does stick or TIG. I'd be like, what was it run off of? You could run it off a regular outlet right there in your house. Where'd you get that at? That's right there, Tanner Flowers TikTok shop. The link's attached to this video. You can get one yourself. I got a bunch of other stuff coming from the Yes Welding Company. And I've been seeing great reviews on all of the Yeswelder welding products. I've got like their hood coming. I got their welding sticks coming. I got some gloves. I'm gonna be ready to weld. I didn't finish my story though a while ago. So here I was, top of the class, and I could damn stick weld or MIG weld. I mean, I would have put myself up against anybody if we were going for looks. I'm talking about, I'm a perfectionist. You guys can watch any of my videos of any of my service jobs on anything that I've ever attached my name to in my life, and you'd be like, damn, he does everything like that. And that's all I'm saying to you. So when it comes to a damn pretty welding bead competition, I would put myself up against anybody. And I was talking this shit at this hot rod shop one time. And I remember the owner's name was Gary. And he's like, you know how to weld, Tanner? And I was like, shit, yeah, I know how to weld. Damn, I can weld with the best of them. He's like, put a bead down there on that piece of metal. I'm like, which welder you want me to use? And he had a MIG welder there, so I go over and turned that thing on, cranked it up, got down there. I pulled him a damn bead across that piece of metal. He said, when you want to start? I said, when can I start? I was still in high school at the time. Showed up the next day. He had a 34 Ford Coupe that they was building on. I still remember this. And on the firewall, you know, when you get in here, you're looking here at the panel or whatever. He said, Tanner, I want you to get in there and I want you to weld up all of them holes, you know, on that firewall. And I'm like, okay. So I get in there, and of course I've got a MIG welder, so I've got it in my hand, my trigger. And I'm not looking at these, you know, little holes all in this fire panel of this 34 Ford Coupe. I'm putting that thing up there, and I'm like, damn, I'm like melting holes in it. I'm trying to pull, I'm trying to pull a pretty welding bead across these open holes. So if any of you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. Of course, it wasn't going in my favor. He had to come over there. He's like, what are you doing, Tanner? I'm like, hell, I don't know. I'm trying to make these dead pretty welding beads. It just ain't working out for me. He's like, no, you got to tack that shit up, Tanner. I'm like, well, what do you mean? I had never even done anything like that. You know, like just tacking stuff up, filling the voids, grinding it back off. All I had ever done at that point was try to make the prettiest welds anybody had ever done. And I was good at that, but damn, I couldn't do a functional weld on welding up that firewall for shit, come to find out, until he showed me how. Then of course I could do it, but that was so funny. I was so embarrassed because the day before, man, I walked out of there, dude, I was king shit, you know. I was like, damn, they all know that I'm a badass now at welding, and anyhow, so funny. But yeah, I haven't done any welding now in more than 24 years. I am eager to run my first beads here very soon. As soon as I get everything, you know, delivered, and once I do, I aim to actually do another couple videos with the Yeswelder. Again, if you're just now tuning in, this is the Arc 205 DS Pro that does stick welding and TIG welding via it does the stick welding via a standard household outlet, and it does include the 220 volt down to the 110 volt converter so that this welder can be used with normal standard household outlets. And now, after setting everything up and seeing the grounding clamp and the electrode holder, just poured coffee all over my leg, I have no problem going ahead and issuing the Yeswelder Arc 205 DS Pro an official 5-star review.